Hello everyone. Today we are going to continue the topic argument, and today I am going to discuss categorical argument and propositions. So what are the types of categorical arguments? The first one is categorical propositions and the second one is categorical syllogism. Now, as categorical argument or category argument represent the concept, classes, division. Now, first one is categorical propositions. A categorical proposition can be regarded as an assertion or assumption about the relation among the classes or categories or groups. The second one is categorical syllogism, argument containing two categorical premises and a conclusion. So these are the argument which are having two categorical premises, means two premises and a concluding sentence. Now what is categorical propositions? So categorical propositions are the argument focus on statements about subcategory or groups or categories of things, like some apples are red. So here we have four standard categorical statement form, or there are four types of categorical arguments. The first one is universal affirmative. The second one is universal negative. The third one is particular affirmative, and the fourth one is particular negative. Now, universal affirmative means all A are B, like all apples are red. Now, universal negative means all A are not B, means all apples are not red. Now, particular affirmative means some of the part of A are B, like some apples are red. Now, particular negative means some A are not B, some apples are not red. So there are four premises or four particular type of statements. The first one is universal, means A is equivalent to B. Universal negative is A is not B. Particular affirmative is some A are B, and particular negative means some A are not B. Now, the structure of a categorical argument is consist of four parts. The first one part 1 represent quantity, the second part represent subject, the third part represent quality, the fourth part represent predicate. Now, how we start? So suppose all or some, so it is universal or particular, that is a quantity. Now second part, we will go for the subject A, all or some A. Now we will go for the quality, are not. So quality is also known as copula, and then we will say something about X2 or B. So all or some A are or are not B. Like all apples are fruits, some apples are red, therefore some fruits are red. That is one example. Now copula is what? Copula is a verb of being. It consists of is, are, that links the subject and the predicate in a categorical proposition. Now what is the quality? The affirmative or negative character of a categorical proposition. Now what is quantity? The particular or universal characteristic of a categorical proposition. So the quality is either affirmative or negative, whereas quantity represents universal or particular. The second type of categorical argument is categorical syllogism. So what is categorical syllogism? It is a deductive argument containing two categorical premises, a categorical conclusion, and three terms: major, minor, and middle term, with each term occurring in two propositions, means they are going to occur in both the propositions, and the main role is of middle term. I will explain in afterwards how they occur. Now what is syllogism? So it is a deductive argument with two premises and a conclusion. What is a major term? So major term in categorical syllogism is the term that occurs in the predicate of the conclusion, means in the last. Now major premise, so major premise in categorical syllogism is the premise in which the major term appears. So major premise is always in the last, as major term also always in the present in the conclusion. Now minor term in categorical syllogism, the term that occur in the subject of the conclusion. So it is first, generally first. A minor premise in a categorical syllogism is the premise in which the minor term appears. So major term appears in the predicate. So minor term appears in the subject. So minor premise will be subjective premise and conclusion premise will be the major premise here in this argument. So another terms are in categorical syllogism is middle term. So middle term in categorical syllogism is the term that appears in both premises and links together the major and minor term. So you can simply say middle term is the connecting link between the major and minor term. Now there is mood. So what is mood? So the order of the standard forms that make up the premises and conclusion of a categorical syllogism. So there are different kind of mood. I will explain you afterwards what are those kind of arrangement or forms of premises and conclusion. Now next one is figure. The position of the middle term in the premise of a categorical syllogism. So the position of the middle term is called figure in categorical syllogism. Now next one is enthymeme. So enthymeme is a categorical syllogism in which there is an unstated premise or conclusion. So what it can be? Any car with a V8 engine gets poor gas mileage. So Jane car is a car with V8 engine. Hence or therefore Jane cars gets poor gas mileage. So what does it mean? In a enthymeme, a categorical syllogism is having unstated premise or conclusion. So just because Jane's car is having V8 engine, it doesn't mean because of that only the car is going to give poor mileage. There can be other reason also. So the premise is not fixed or the conclusion is not fixed. So they are not related to, somewhat related to, but not conformably related to each other. So now we will see the structure of categorical syllogism. As we know, there are 4 types of argument: universal, affirmative, negative, particular, affirmative, negative. So they are represented by A, E, I, O. These are the 4 alphabets they are represented by. So A represents universal affirmative, E represent universal negative, I represent particular affirmative, O represent particular negative. Now in syllogism argument or categorical syllogism argument, there are 3 things which are present. So first one is major premise, second one is minor premise, and third one is conclusion. So the combination of these 3 is called mood of the syllogism. So there is a list how it is. A major premise can be A, E, I, O. Okay, a minor premise can be also A, E, I, O, and a conclusion can be also A, E, I, O. So these 3 statements are having 4 options. So 4 to the power 3, we can have the 64 types of moods of categorical syllogism. Now I will tell you how they are represented. Now the first one is all A are B. So all A are B means it is a universal affirmative, means all A are B. Now all C are A, again it is a universal affirmative, and all B are C, again it is a universal affirmative. So the mood of this argument will be A. Now we will see the another argument. No A is B. So no A is B means universal negative. All B are C. So here we are representing all the B are C. So it is universal, again affirmative. Hence no A is C. No A is C means not a single A is C. So it is universal negative. So what will be the mood of the argument? Because the first one is universal negative, it will be E. The second one is universal affirmative, so it will be A. The third one is again universal, negative, so it will be E. Now I will deal with the what to say, the position of the middle term, or how many types of figures are there. Now I am representing the combination. So there are three statements: major premise, minor premise, and conclusion. So the middle term always appear in major and minor premise. So on the basis of its position, it depends on what are the types of figure. The first position or the first figure can be when the middle term is before predicate, that is major premise in major premise, and it will be after subject in minor premise. That is the first condition. Now in second condition, in both major and minor, it will come after predicate and subject. In third condition, it will come before predicate and subject, and in the last one it will be opposite to the first one. It will come after predicate and it will come before subject. So thank you everyone, thank you for watching. I will meet with the next video, that is square of opposition. So thank you again.